create real equality between men. And his exhibition, about his latest exhibition, which brings, oh for fuck's sake.
Hello and welcome to the weekly English practice from English Coaching Project.
Last Tuesday was the 8th of March, that's International Women's Day, and around the world there were demonstrations and activities to demand policies and actions by governments to create real equality between men and women. In a male-dominated world, it's visibility of women that is still a major problem. Women's contributions to society have been largely ignored for centuries. Here in Victoria, for example, after years and years of campaigning, the City Council is finally adding women's names to the spaces, squares and streets of the city. This square, for example, in front of the Artium Museum in the centre of town, will be named Plaza Juncal Ballestin, a pioneer and one of Victoria's most important and original artists. And the other day I spoke to a local photographer, Stuart MacDonald, also known as Music Snapper, about his latest exhibition called Women to the Front. Stuart has been taking photographs of bands and musicians playing here in the Basque Country over the last 20 years. And his exhibition highlights the energy, the power and the passion that women bring to music. In this week's article, ECP coach Kez looks at an example of how discrimination against women still exists in education systems around the world. Watch the video, read the article, listen to the text, and answer the questions at the end. Send us your ideas, your thoughts by email, by WhatsApp. You can record your voice. Give us your opinions, and then we can chat about them. Have a great day. Have a great week. Have a fantastic weekend, and see you next week. Bye. Hello, and I'm with Stuart MacDonald, and maybe I'm shouting because there's a concert in the background. It's not Debbie Harry. Money Garage? Yeah, okay. Why we're here? Because it's the inauguration of his exhibition about women in music. What's it called? Women to the Front?
Women to the Front.
Women to the Front.
Volume 1.
Volume 1. So we'll be back in a few months' time for Volume 2. I was going to ask Stuart a couple of questions because he's a really interesting guy. So, Stuart, why did you decide to do this exhibition about women to the front in music?
Because the dates coincided with yesterday, the International Women's Day, and it was an opportunity to do something different because there are a lot more men in music, especially rock music, than women.
So especially in rock music, women front in rock music.
I've tried to put a selection of different kinds of music here just to show that women are everywhere in music, so I think it's typical.
As you can see, I'm not a professional interviewer, so I've got my little piece of paper with questions here.
I'm not a professional interviewee either.
Has the role of women in rock music changed over the years that you've been taking photographs at concerts?
I think maybe the roles are the right word. There's definitely more visibility now than there was before. It's quite strange when you go back to the history of music. There have been lots of women very famous, like Aretha Franklin, and all those regular black American artists. 60s and 70s, it sort of changed. Women became much more pop music, rap music, some classical, but now there's much more visibility.
Okay, right. Does social media and the internet help with that?
Yeah, and I think people's awareness as well that equality is a cultural thing. You don't need, there's not a difference between men and women as far as music goes. I think the biggest difference for me is there are more women in certain kinds of music than other kinds of music.
Ah, okay, great.
That's my need. I think you have more women in pop music, for example, than men.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Hi.
Thinking about backstage, technical side of things, do you see more women now than before?
Yeah, definitely. As far as like sound engineers, lighting engineers, a couple of riggers I know who are like tougher than most of the men that are going to work in there. They'll move more weight than everybody else, yeah. Part of the team.
Part of the team. Okay.
Part of the crew.
Ah, yeah, the crew, yeah. Thanks, Stuart.
You're welcome, Rob.
Amazing job. Brilliant.
Bye, everyone.
See you guys.
Blatant misogyny in Indian English exam. Nationwide exam for teenagers included passage indicating female independence was undermining discipline in the home. An Indian exam board has withdrawn a passage from an English exam that appeared to promote the subservience of wives after an outcry over blatant misogyny. All students have since been awarded full marks for the comprehension section of the exam covering the passage, which appeared to explicitly state that women's independence was undermining discipline and parenting in the home. The passage appeared in an English language and literature exam taken by 14 and 15-year-olds. The offending passage contained lines such as, "The emancipation of the wife destroyed the parent's authority over the children," and, "In bringing the man down from his pedestal, the wife and mother deprived herself, in fact, of the means of discipline." The passage also said it was only by accepting her husband's way that a mother could gain obedience over the younger ones, and wives stopped obeying their husbands, the main reason why children and servants are undisciplined. After students, teachers and parents objected, Sonia Gandhi, the president of the opposition Congress Party, drew attention to the exam. Gandhi read the passages aloud in Parliament on Monday and voiced her disgust at the impact they could have had on India's children. She described the exam as atrocious, shockingly regressive, and perpetuating blatant misogyny. The entire passage is riddled with such condemnable ideas, and the questions that follow are equally nonsensical, said Gandhi. It reflects extremely poorly on the standards of education and testing, and it goes against all norms and principles of a progressive and empowered society. After the outcry, the Central Board of Secondary Education said it was withdrawing the passage. The matter was referred to a committee of subject experts. As per their recommendations, it's been decided to drop the passage, the board said in a statement. All students would be given full marks for the passage, it added. Gandhi demanded a review of the exam in question and also called for a broader investigation into gender sensitivity standards in the national curriculum. Although the number of girls attending school in India continues to rise, the literacy rate of those aged 15 is still behind that of boys, at 59.3% compared to 78.8%. The national curriculum has often been accused of perpetuating rigid stereotypes. However, there have been some attempts to shift perceptions. In March this year, in the state of Punjab, a gender sensitization curriculum was introduced for children aged from 10 to 14 to try to challenge gender norms. In 2018, a school in Kochi, in the southern state of Kerala, won plaudits after it became the first to introduce gender-neutral uniforms. Here are this week's questions. What date does International Women's Day fall on? Have you ever seen examples of blatant misogyny? Explain it, or them. Should wives obey their husbands? Why? Why not? In your opinion, why are girls' literacy rates behind boys in Indian schools? Do you think gender sensitization, see text, is a good idea? Why? Why not?